Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 8. So, we are back with The Flash again, with its long-awaited return featuring Bart and Nora coming this week or early this week with them messing up the timeline due to their time travel antics and then, well, them going back through time to fix it. Yeah, a bit risky. But the bundle of episodes we are in at the moment, otherwise known as the interlude portion of the season, isn't overly story heavy in regards to the big picture of the whole season, though Eric Wallace, the showrunner for The Flash, has alluded to the interlude episodes of this season being relevant to the overall story coming our way, just not being 100% focused, unlike last season where they were 100% just throwaway episodes. Now, yesterday, most likely from when this video will go up, we went over an interview surrounding the events of that return episode and how certain elements from it will play into the larger picture of this season. And I did say in that video that there was another interview with Eric Wallace which focused completely on the rest of season 8 outside of that return episode and what is coming our way over the next few months. Now, I was going to leave that interview for another day or two, just, for breathing room between the interview videos, but it's probably better to go over it before the other stuff that I have for videos, as it sort of sets up the discussion for the information release that will be, within those videos, if that makes sense. So better just to get it out of the way than for it to feel like I'm stepping back a bit, in a couple of days' time by going over this interview. But there's actually a lot of interesting stuff in here. I'm very curious to see what you guys have to think about it or have to say about it. So let me know in the comment section down below throughout the video what you're thinking, any theories, predictions, and stuff that come from it. I'm sure your brain will be ticking like mine is. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, some of this stuff gets you excited and just want to show your support, why not drop a like on the video to show all that. Happy New Year to you. That feels appropriate given the mid-season premiere's New Year's Eve setting. It is. Folks don't really realize is when we wrote this, it was originally supposed to air in January and things happen. It's no big deal, but there was a moment in the post-production process where it was like, well, do we change this? Do we make it a birthday celebration or something? Or do we walk away from New Year's? And I said to myself, I don't recall seeing a lot of episodes of my favorite shows that specifically celebrate New Year's. Let's stick with it regardless of when it airs, and I'm glad we made that decision because I think it makes it a little bit more unique and very fun. So this was something that a lot of people said that it felt weird doing a New Year's episode when we're in like the middle of March. But yeah, it was meant to air probably, like, when did Superman and Lois start? Like middle of January, like third week of January. That's probably when they thought that The Flash was coming back. But of course, I had to finish Legends and Batwoman seasons off, so that's why The Flash had to wait till March to come back. So yeah, that's the reason for it feeling a bit weird. I think it works since it's still The Flash's first episode of the year. As we move into the next graphic novel, how would you describe the tone and themes of Season 8? I would say tonally very intense, perhaps one of the most intense seasons we've had in a while, I would say. The first couple of episodes after Armageddon, one of which, you just saw, are designed to be interludes that are a little lighter, and they're designed that way on purpose because when the next graphic novel of this season starts in a few more episodes, it's going to get very hardcore for Team Flash. We have a lot of things to explore emotionally, especially in Barry and Iris's relationship. With Iris's time sickness. I thought it said Barry and Iris's relationship with Iris. And I was like, wait, hold on, what does that mean? Anyway, Barry and Iris's relationship with Iris's time sickness, with Caitlyn's decision to start dating again that we introduced in Armageddon. Also, Chester and Allegra, we saw them kissing in the future. What does it mean? Do we have to explore a little bit of that this season? And how do they eventually get there? Do they get there? Is something standing in the way of them getting there? So it does get very emotionally intense, especially in the middle of season 8, very much so. Just quickly, I need to say it. I don't know why they're going the Chester and Allegra route. I don't see it. I don't think anyone sees it. It's really confusing. It's probably one of the most unnatural pairings and no chemistry at all I've ever seen on a show. I don't know why they're going down that route. Does anyone disagree with me? I really need to know whether there's people that think it's a good road to go down. Please let me know. I'm not going to attack you if you do. I just need to know if there are people. Do you think the intensity level is comparable to a previous season or seasons? I would say season 2 or 3, but it's such a different feeling because the villain of the middle graphic novel is so different. I don't think it's a spoiler to say that the villain is not a speedster, but it kind of reminded me a little bit of that emotion of seasons 2 and 3, of that kind of intensity. So that, I think, is a pretty apt comparison. Season 3 makes sense given that Barry was trying to save Iris from being murdered in the future, and here he's dealing with a time sickness which has been dangling since season 7. How quickly can we expect to get answers about that? It'll take center stage by the middle of season 8. We're right in the season finale as we speak, and I'm happy to report that it all gets resolved by the end of season 8. So we can start fresh and clean, should we knock on wood, be able to have the privilege to do a season 9. So just quickly on this. So with season 2 or 3, they are definitely the more darker seasons of The Flash, especially in tone and just even just the general thing. Like the stakes were very high. There was a lot of death around them. Like Zoom was killing people, planned to kill all of Earth 2. Savitar was mainly just going to kill Iris, but there's still death, for main characters on the show. And if we go back to, I think, the interview that we went over most likely in yesterday's video, it was going to be very emotional for Team Flash, and like viewers are going to be the most emotionally invested they've been in a while in specific characters. So it makes you wonder, are people going to die? Like, I don't know what they're going to do. When I think seasons 2 or 3, I think very like a much darker tone, especially with like the stakes of death and everything being involved. So maybe that's what's happening there. Since the show hasn't been renewed yet, are you writing the finale as a season or series finale or some kind of hybrid? I have to do both. I've known what the ending was for a few years now. We're coming to the end of a 3-year master plan that I've had with the show at seasons 6, 7, and 8. But the actual ending, I have to write 2 endings because I don't know what the future holds. I know what I'm hoping for. I'm very hopeful there is a season 9, but I have to make sure I have closure on all the character arcs depending on which way it goes. But then I also have to film a tag or a teaser that potentially sets up another year, so it's a challenge. But it's one that we love doing as writers. It's made it even more interesting and more intense, but I think it's going to be worth it. So they keep talking about the series finale. I mean, all the show, like it'd be weird if The Flash did it because shows like Batwoman and Legends didn't do it. Legends is only 1 season behind The Flash in numbers, because they just did season 7, we're on season 8 of The Flash. If it won't be, I don't see a way in which is the series finale. So I think this is just all talk because the CW hasn't publicly renewed it, but. I mean, the crew in Vancouver apparently got told for pretty much all the shows that they're working for next season. So I think this is just all chat, and Eric Wallace can't actually confirm season 9 until the CW publicly does. But it's important to remember season 7 of The Flash didn't really have a teaser, it just ended. It just ended. And even if you look back at like something like Arrow season 7, I think it was, a lot of that felt like a series finale, and then it just had the tag with the Monitor coming to take Oliver, and then they started their stuff that led into Crisis. So I don't know what they're going to do. I don't really think they have to write 2 complete endings. I think this is just all talk, to be completely honest. But yeah, just keep that in mind. Barry Allen is supposedly the fastest he's ever been. What can we expect from the big bad in season 8's next graphic novel? Despero is a perfect example of, if you're going to make the Flash stronger, you have to make the villains even stronger than your leveled up hero. That's a theme that plays out through the remainder of the season. And remember, all the strength and speed in the world can't help protect Barry from emotional disasters because heroes are still human beings. And if you love and you have vulnerability, and that's the people you care for, and the villains he faces, especially the ones in the middle of season 8, are going to exploit that to an incredibly devastating effect. And obviously that's going to tie back into Iris's time sickness. What is going on? Why is this happening? And more importantly, why is it happening right now? You said villains. Does that mean we're dealing with multiple big bads? No, it means we're doing something different this year. Instead of just 2 graphic novels, we're having 3. So Armageddon was the first, then we have a few interlude episodes, right? Then eventually we'll get into our second graphic novel that has its own big bad. Then we'll have, again, a couple of interlude episodes, and then we'll do something new. So you get more villains a season, more than ever. So there's something else that mentions interlude episodes in the later part of the season, which we'll get to, which has me concerned, but we'll get to it and discuss it at a later point. But I'm excited to see who is revolving around this middle of the season, because we know that characters like Eddie are meant to be coming back, and Ronnie and stuff like that. So I'm very curious to see who this non-speedster villain, like was said earlier in the video or earlier in the interview, who it is and how they play into this middle of the season and what they do specifically. I'm very curious. As you mentioned, Caitlyn starts dating again this season. Is it fair to assume Robbie Amell's return ties into that? It does. It does definitely, because what's more inconvenient as you're starting to date than to have your ex-husband show up? I mean, part of that's actually very funny. It's very comedic. I'm not saying it's the funniest storyline, so please don't get me wrong, because it's not. It's obviously very dramatic and intense, but it isn't a coincidence that she starts to date and Robbie Amell is guesting on our show. It's part of the complicated journey that she's going to go on to really kind of find out who she is at her core, because that's what we wanted to ask this season. Who is Caitlyn? Oh, she's a doctor. Well, does that really define her? Okay, she's a member of Team Flash, but does that really define her? Who is she really? That's what we'll get to know in the middle of season 8. I have to say, Danielle Panabaker's performance this season, we're so lucky to have such gifted performers on our show, but I mean, she overachieved this year. It's just phenomenal to see her work because she's playing two characters. So we've all been wondering, how the hell does Ronnie come back into things? And, you know, now we know that it's going to be sort of be very emotional for Caitlyn as a character, especially because she's trying to move on, like we saw at the beginning of this season in Armageddon, and trying to like open herself up to the world again. But now we're going to have Ronnie coming back in and going, hi, remember my face? We used to be married. So that's going to be very interesting. And I'm sure, you know, as I think Eric Wallace says, they're dramatic. So all the drama. Legend of Tomorrow star Katie Lotz just announced she's directing an episode. What can we expect from her episode? It's very interesting that we have 3 kind of interlude episodes, and it's me directing, Katie, and Danielle, all 3 in a row. So we kind of joked about how hilarious this was, all 3 of us doing our episodes all back to back, and it spoils the cast in a sense because we know them so well. Now, this was the bit, you know, in conjunction with that early bit where I mentioned future interlude episodes, it has me a bit worried because 3 interlude episodes in a row, and Danielle Panabaker is directing episode 17, the second last episode of the season from what we know. We're led to believe it's 18 episodes this season for The Flash. So she's directing episode 17, Katie Lotz is directing episode 16, and Eric Wallace is directing episode 15. Fun fact, Eric Wallace's episode is the one when we saw the Zoom and Godspeed newspaper article thing, and also Nora was on set for that episode. So his episode, you think it would be completely story based, but apparently it's an interlude episode, which has me even more confused because we're going to have 3 interlude episodes leading up to the finale. If episode 18 is the finale, like we're led to believe it is, they said a while ago that The Flash has 18 episodes this season. So how do you have 3 interlude episodes and then just randomly have a finale? What's going on there? The only thing I can think of is that I don't even know what to think, because how do you have 2 graphic novels after Armageddon if one probably doesn't start, then like the next one, the middle one, probably doesn't start till episode 9, probably goes for like 4, maybe 5 episodes, and then we have 3 interlude episodes with 15, 16, and 17. I don't know if Eric Wallace is trying to say that graphic novel, the last one, is only 1 episode, which is episode 18, or if there's more episodes, did the Flash get an upgrade in episodes? I have no idea what this means. Like, can anyone explain that to me? Because we're led to believe it's only got 18 episodes, but 15, 16, and 17 are interludes. So the only thing I can think of is that The Flash got more episodes this season, got an extension, or the third graphic novel for this season is 1 episode. I have no idea what's going on. I'm confused and also a bit concerned because I thought that the interlude episodes we're having now were the only ones we're having, but apparently we got 3 right at the end of the season, which is the worst place to have them. So that has me a bit concerned. But of course, maybe this is Eric Wallace misspeaking, or the person interviewing dictated it in a different way and misunderstood it. I'm not too sure. Fingers crossed it is that and it's a misunderstanding. But yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on here. But yeah, there is I think like 2 or 3 other questions on that on this interview you can go over and read, but they weren't overly relevant to what we wanted to talk about in this video. They're just like sort of like personal things and stuff like that, but I don't really want to waste too much time in this video going over, but you can go check out that interview via the link in the description down below. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully enjoy the video. That was a weird way to end the video. It sounded negative, but it's really just me being honest and a bit concerned and hoping that that's just misrepresented or the Flash is getting an extension. If The Flash is extended to like 20 or 22 episodes, then ignore what I said there because they can have those episodes there if they want to. But it's a concern if only there's 1 episode for this final graphic novel. That would be incredibly random and not really make sense. So let's wait and see. But thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it, show support. Let me know in the comments section down below your various opinions on everything we went over. Any theories and predictions? I'm always curious, especially about that middle villain, who you think it could be. Because I'm not too sure, but I'm also excited to see who they are. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.